Hey guys, how's it going? So, before the actual update, let's go ahead and cover this special update. They went ahead and gave us a newsletter, and yeah, probably going to be a little late when this goes up, just because it's in the middle of the night now when I'm recording this, and I'm probably going to fall asleep right after I get this done. But anyway, the Gelgoog Vertex will be the new suit. Well, technically today at this time, but tomorrow, when the newsletter came out, for me it still feels like it's Tuesday. But anyway, apparently it's from Johnny Ryden, and it's based off the return of Johnny Ryden, and it's based off the Gelgoog mixed with a Gelgoog. And yeah, I was kind of confused. I thought it was a Gelgoog, and then I just noticed the Gelgoog shoulders here. So yeah, it's literally just a back part of a Gelgoog attached to a Gelgoog. So that's kind of crazy. And it's got a Gatling beam gun. Go and take a look at the video here in a second. But overall, it is going to be a raid, which was kind of sad for me to see that a Gatling beam gun is a raid weapon. But, you know, maybe it'll be cool because when we get down to the mission stuff, they're doing new missions and you can just get it by playing the game. Now, you do have to get up to A- in space, though, is going to be the big kicker there. So, good luck to people in space rated. Now, I will say this, well, we can get to that here in a second, but used to it was retroactive for the other ones, so if you've already made it there, I think it should complete that, but I think it'd be kind of interesting if they made people get A- again, even if you've been to A- in space before. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video here. If it'll load. I didn't think about doing that. There we go. Okay, so main thing they show off is just the Gatling beam gun. This is kind of what I expected. There we go. Look at that. That looks amazing. The rate of fire seems actually a little slow. It almost seems about as fast as the is it the Gelgoog beam rifle? Is that the one that's the machine gun? So it's a little awkward that it seems a little bit slow. Maybe it actually has a high stagger value. I don't know if we'll have another weapon that'll probably be better to use. But it does have that blue beam naginata, which looks really cool. And it has double beam sabers, which will be really nice. As far as being a raid, it looks cool. The question is how easy can you stagger something? And is this just going to end up having some of the problems of not being able to stagger? And what cost will it be? I'm guessing it's going to be 500, 550 based on the cost of clan ranked. So we'll see. Here is another video of a new skill called the quick turn. We actually kind of debated about this as to, you know, if this could be a thing at some point in the game. Now, we used to have one kind of like this in space. It's pretty much the same thing where you would stop and it would automatically rotate. Now you stop in space and you can just spin your camera around. Now, is this going to be... I don't think I saw a button on the side. I think this was just something they did. So I don't know exactly what buttons you press, if it's the same thing in ground and space, or if when you have the skill, your stop, which is L2 and L1 at the same time, will automatically do this. I'm guessing that's what it is. Oh, by pressing the touchpad button right here. Actually, here we go. By pressing the touchpad button while moving at high speed, you can use thrusters to quickly turn. So it's pretty much moving Zoc skill. Now the thing is, I don't know. I think this would be cool just to add to just about everything in the game while moving at high speed. It's going to be interesting to see if they add it to other stuff, but mainly this is the only point that they bring it up is for this suit. I feel like there's a lot of other suits that could definitely use this, so I'm curious to see if this is also the buffs and nerfs, if we actually see that skill added to a lot of things during this patch. Moving on though, they are doing the raid buff essentially because there's going to be more generals on a team than usual, and this almost not really kills because we actually have the numbers now. So we guessed the first one would be 5%, and then I figured it would either go up by 1 or it would go up by literally the number. So it looks like the first step after that is 2, and then with 5 units, it goes up to 8. So 5, 7, 8, And then I'm guessing if you have a team of 6 and they're all the same unit, it will go up to 9. So for example, if you're using a raid and the opposing team has 4 generals, the damage received from opposing general units will be reduced by 7%. This is straight across the board, so it'd be like having +7 to each of your defenses if it stacks additively. I've been really curious to know if reductions stack additively in this game, no matter what. Typically, that means if you can reach 100%, stuff does 0. So one easy way to test this, I think, would be to go in with the EXS and or the Shiki Kai, because they the full armor Shiki Kai, and they have the eye field that reduces stuff by 50%. So is that a 50% then multiplied by another 50%, or is that straight 100% if you have 50% in your beam resist? That's something I definitely want to try to check out today, because I'm curious to know if this, I'm assuming this is going to stack multiplicatively, so that's really not that big of a number. I mean, it's pretty good, but as long as it doesn't stack additively, multiplicative stacking things like this, especially in small numbers, doesn't really do that much for you overall. But if it's additive on your other resist, this could actually be kind of insane, because there are some things out there that are pretty tanky already. I'm looking at stuff like the Dodge, and yeah, I could see the Dodge and a few things like that that are already tanky definitely taking advantage of this and becoming monsters again. When they got buffed for more tank, they were actually really good. So this is mainly to buff raids, but the thing is, this also hurts any team comp that is, well, multiple raids or multiple supports. Now the question would be, though, can you get away with running 2 raids now? Or can you get away with running 2 supports? Because if they're going to get for four generals, right, on a 6v6, they're going to get a 7% bonus. Well, if you run 2 supports and 3 generals, then that's a 5% bonus. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see some kind of team comp change. And more specifically, I'd be curious to see if we get a raid team comp change from this. Again, well, I'll try not to repeat myself when the actual update comes out, but I'll actually be testing this, and I'll be playing till I get all the suits in the mission. So yeah, I'll be going pretty late, and we'll see what happens. But I definitely want to check out the new suit before the podcast, which will be earlier at 6 p.m. Eastern. Is going to be the plan time. We might start a little bit early if everybody's on, just because the guest we're having on is, well, in a different time zone, and it's going to be late. If we start normally, I think that's 2 a.m. their time, which is Gundam Gameplays. It's Sync Wavy from Gundam Gameplays, by the way. Anyway, we've got the Lunar Debris Belt as a new map. I mean, the big thing with new maps, especially ones that are in space like this just feels like Resource Satellite maybe 2.0. There's a bunch of debris in the way. It's going to be curious to see what yeah, so here's map altitude lower, map altitude higher. So like, is this the bottom of the map and you can't really go below the rocks, but you can go above the rocks? That's going to be the question. Let's go ahead and we can see that debris and rocks are concentrated towards the lower level of the map. On the contrary, the middle and upper have open space, which makes long distance travel convenient. Okay, so the thing is, if this is the bottom of the map, you can't actually go under the rocks, then you're going to have to go around this debris. It'd be interesting. I don't know, it just feels like if you're fighting in the middle of the rocks at Resource Satellite, only that's the entire gimmick of the map. And if you go to the top, then people can shoot above the rocks and hit people at long distance. The question is, though, with bases being this size, this doesn't look like that big of a map. This looks like about the same size, if not smaller, than the interior map in space already. So I'm curious to see what kind of strats come out. You'll probably have a D capture, B capture, A capture, and C capture, and then maybe the 2 meet in the middle. Or we'll just see people group to one side and do the ring of nonsense, which we tend to always see these days for some reason. Yeah, to be curious. Anyway, they got a nice little ship here. There's a lot of cool debris. They're talking about to use the debris and rocks shield from ranged attacks. It'd be really cool to see what kind of angles you can get in and out of the rocks is going to be the main thing. But yeah, it just feels like it's going to be mostly resource satellite, only even more rock encounters. Instead of big rocks to hide behind, you've got a lot of little tiny rocks. Pretty much that at a point, just right, like if you're looking from top down on the map, that point just above A just a little bit where there's all those tiny rocks down at the bottom where people fly around those a lot if there's a fight, kind of toward the like top part of A, essentially. There's a bunch of rocks. I feel like it's just going to be that, only a map of that. So we'll see. I mean, it's cool. I like new maps. Since this is a lunar map, we're close to the moon. Can we get a ground map with low gravity, please? Let's go. Ground low gravity moon map. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be kind of insane. So I'm really curious to see if we get something like that. The problem is, if it's a low gravity map, unless it's in an atmosphere, I think you'll still have to use spacesuits. That can also go on the ground. So I don't know. It'll be interesting if that's just a map that you have to have suits that go on both till it actually works. Unless you could somehow justify using like a Xeon that would fly up the entire time or something. I don't know. It'd be really interesting. Yeah, actually now that I thought about that, unless you had some kind of atmosphere, you would have to have both. But anyway, before we get off into speculation and tangenting, we'll save that for tomorrow. And, well, I guess it technically is tomorrow at this point. But we'll save that for the podcast more than anything. So we got the Operation Star 1. I don't know why I tried to say that 1-star operation is what I tried to say. But, yeah, so you can get the suit. So the first thing you'll do is Mission 1. You'll get the GM Intercept Custom, which is reach D+, win 1 space battle, and do 50,000 damage. The next one's 100,000 damage, win 2, make it to C, and you get the Hyzak Custom. The next one's make it to B-, win 3, and 150,000 damage, and you get the GPO-1 FB. And the one I'm most hyped for, because I've been wanting this thing for a long time, is 200,000, win 4 times, and reach space rating B+. Then, finally, you can get the new suit for the Gelgoog Vertex level 1, reaching space rating A-, win 5 times, and deal a total of 250,000 damage. If you're curious about dealing damage, the easiest way is to go kill a base. Just throwing that out there. Again, I'm really curious to see if some of these are retroactive. So, yeah. Otherwise, you'll have to get to A- before this event ends. The question being is, how long are they going to run this? And... oh... wait a second. What is this? The content of new directives are all specific to space. Awarded with 1 mobile suit qualifier space use. You complete all the limited time directives and receive the new mobile suit unit Gelgoog Vertex scheduled to release on June 6th. Oh! Are we not getting this? That's a Sunday. I guess it's a Monday for them? But what? Interesting. Okay, maybe this isn't coming out this week. Or maybe the suit's coming out, but you can get it a bit later? That'll be interesting. If this comes out, because, yeah, if this comes out today, or tomorrow, whatever. If this comes out at patch, it's being weird being up late. Then, yeah, either you get this, that's kind of cool, actually. I think that would be cool. If people pay for it or people roll for it, they get it, and then they come out with these missions that you can get it a couple of weeks later if you do all the missions and, you know, and compete for it. I like that. I actually really like that. So, like, you know, some suits as they come out, you might have to get to, you know, A or A+, or even S-, you know, and if anniversary they come out with S, that would be really cool to kind of lock suits to just, for lack of a better way to put it, just getting good. I don't mind that. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty hype. Because anybody who's going to not spend the money that for a free game that can get good or no life it, I think that's fine to have that as an alternative. Than to spend lots of money. That could be cool. I don't know if, I mean, obviously this is just speculation if they start doing something like this, but that could be cool if they go in that direction. That's just my speculation on it and my hope, because Blade and Soul was a game that they kind of did that with. If you could compete in the ladder and do really well, you pretty much just had all the currency in game, where a friend of mine would actually buy my currency with real money, and all I did was just compete in the ladder, and I was like, was it Berserker? I don't know. Either way, I just competed as a Berserker the entire time. But anyway, adjustments made for behavior in space. Remove difficulty of fights for units that lack the skill high spec AMBAC. So they pretty much gave everyone high spec AMBAC essentially. Will be added to all mobile suits, except with some exceptions. And I don't know what the exceptions mean. Finish for units who already had. Okay, well, they'll have level 2 essentially. So that's what I was gonna say. That maybe that's the exception part that they mean. It's gonna be weird to see what suits don't have it. So curious to see what those. Maybe it's just suits that were already really good, even though they didn't have it already. Something like that. And also, when you're flying in space, you have no thrust bar, so now you can just boost as a pilot forever, which is actually really awesome. Because it's really awkward if you bail to go cap a point and you run out of thrust, even though it ends, it goes down really quick when you stop boosting. It's just weird that you couldn't just do that in space, because it's a little bit easier to get away with. Changing the mini map. Now, this is a really cool change. If they're above you on the map, they're going to be brighter. If they're on the same altitude, same level, going to be just what I think is the normal color, and then they're going to darken the color if they're below you. This is a really cool change for space. I almost don't like it a little bit, but it's a really cool change in general, actually. On ground, I like it better on ground than I do space, because space, you had that interaction of, okay, they're on the radar, where are they at, and you have to kind of pay attention. Now it's essentially a buff to the flipper where it actually gets rid of radar. Anything that gets rid of radar in space now has actually got a buff because of this, so that's cool. But it is a little awkward. I did like the fact that people had to pay attention a little bit more in space, as somebody who pretty much uses their radar all the time. You can also turn this on and off for the high difference display if you don't like it. So that's kind of cool that they put that in there. And yeah, closing words. Content introduced, scheduled release on May 27th. So it is coming, but this is going to be later. I'm actually kind of confused. Are we getting these missions over time, or are all specific to space battles if you complete each directive? Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Maybe you get the rewards on that date. Or maybe we have till. I don't know. That's kind of interesting that it's June 6th. Again, I think this might be their way of like spend money on this if you want it now, or you can wait and get it then. And if that's the case, that'll be interesting. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about all of this. This is kind of crazy. I did tangent a little bit and ramble a little bit, but we'll be talking about all of this and more. We're definitely going to be talking about clan ranked and some team stuff on the podcast on Thursday. Again, that'll be 6 p.m. Eastern, maybe a little earlier if everybody's on and ready to go. If not, should be 6 p.m. And we're probably going to have a lot to talk about, so this could be a long one. Probably a two-parter when it goes on YouTube. But anyway, guys, usual stuff in the description, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, stuff like that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But anyway, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Peace!